Hi, I'm Abrielle, and this is Ella. This is video 2. Ella is the client, and I will be playing the counselor. So, hi, Ella. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. It's good to see you. What brings you in today?
Well, I just want to talk a little bit about my family situation right now.
Okay.
I just got hit with a very big news about my son. He was diagnosed with autism.
Oh, wow. Okay. When did you hear this?
It was just like a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how old is your son?
He's 2.
He's 2. Okay. What's his name?
Johnny.
Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Johnny. That's awesome. Is he your only child, or do you have any other kids?
I have an older kid. He's 8.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So that was some big news that you had to take on. When you were told that by the doctors, how did that make you feel?
I was scared. I didn't know what to expect. My other child is normal child. He's very smart and he does sports. And I don't know what a kid with autism, like what it looks like, what they do, or what's the difference. Like I just know there's some differences. When he was supposed to start talking and he wasn't talking, I just noticed those differences. But aside from that, I don't know anything about it.
Now, the first thing that you said is that you had a feeling that you were scared.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just explain that a little bit more? Like, what were some of the things that were running through your mind about being scared? Like, what was that fear that was kind of going through your mind?
Well, he's gonna be different than everybody else, and that I think that's what scares me the most: the fact that he's never gonna have a normal life, and some like we're always. I feel like we're always gonna have to take care of him. Like I don't know if there's like a cure for it or something.
Okay. Now, when you define like normal, what do you feel like normal looks like? Compared to another family. Like, what are some things, I guess, that you're afraid are not going to be normal?
Well, like I see my older son, um, he talks to me and um, he's able to communicate what he wants and what he needs, and he has a lot of friends, and like I said, he plays sports. I don't know if Johnny's going to be able to do those things.
Right, right. So you said he's 2. Johnny's 2. What are some things that, like, is he able to talk with you now, or how is that all developing?
No, he was starting to talk, but then he just stopped talking completely, and that's what worried me because he was talking and he just stopped, and I was like, that's not normal. He should be learning more words and learning to speak more and to communicate more, but he just didn't.
Yeah, and so like when you realized that he stopped talking and when he wasn't developing more in his vocabulary, like did you have initial thoughts then that something might be wrong, or what, or did you just kind of just think that maybe he was, I don't know, what were some thoughts that were going through your mind then?
I thought he like something was wrong because I seen my other child and when he was 2 he started saying certain words, and then he was talking more and more, and then Johnny's almost going to be 3 soon, and he's just at the point where he's not talking.
Okay, so what were some things that the doctor said that maybe brought up more fear or brought up more concern? Like, I know these things that you've talked about, he's not going to be able to live a normal life. Was there anything that really stuck out to you that really brought some concern to you in that meeting with the doctor or anything?
Well, he said that I would have to put my son in therapy.
Okay.
So that's like, I think of therapy as something for like an older person who is like crazy. I mean, not crazy, but like just, not dealing with life. And my child should be like thriving and doing things. And instead, I'm going to have to put him in therapy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Have you ever been with anyone or know of anyone who's gone through some therapy where you've seen like the benefits from it, or do you always just associate it, like what you said, with kind of like an older group of people, it might be kind of crazy or whatnot? Like, what is your association and like your thoughts about therapy and how you might, you know, handle it as a mom?
Um, well, I've never been to therapy. I don't really know a lot about it. I think, like I said, I don't know if like normal people go to that. I don't think normal people go to therapy.
Mm-hmm. I keep seeing this like thread, like this like you keep using the word normal. You know, how was your, like when you were growing up, did you live like a pretty normal life, or were there things that kind of stuck out in your life that you wish had been more normal? Like anything that brings up in your memory?
I think I lived a pretty normal life. I mean, the only thing that was a little bit hard was dealing with my mom had MS when she got older, and that was like pretty hard because she couldn't do anything on her own,
Mm.
and she had to go to a lot of physical therapy.
Okay. All right. So I mean, just from like your mom's experience, you've seen kind of what, just like some physical, like not disabilities, but just some physical things that kind of hinder people from, living like a normal life. You've seen those things before in your mom's life. Is that correct?
Yes, pretty much.
So are those some things that maybe you are afraid of maybe approaching again with your son?
Yes, definitely. My mom, like, she had a really rough time, and then she just passed away because there's nothing to do. There's no cure.
Mm-hmm.
So she wasn't able to live like fully at the end.
Is there like a fear about like maybe your son not living the fullest, or because I know you just said that about your mom, like is that something that maybe worries you as well?
Well, yeah, I know since he's gonna be so different, I don't think he's gonna do anything that other kids do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's gonna live fully. I think he's just like gonna be like so hindered by his autism.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know what he can achieve.
Right. Have you been around other kids that have autism, or is this pretty new for you?
This is pretty new. I've never. I know there's like kids in his school that have autism. They're not close to me, but I've seen them, and it looks like I never thought I would have a kid like that.
Yeah. Are there certain like characteristics of these kids that you've seen that maybe you're worried about that Johnny might end up having as well? Like, are there certain like functions and actions that they do that kind of just puts up like warning signs for you that you've noticed?
I can't remember. The only like this is what I can think of right now is one of the kids in my other my older son's class. He was just screaming, and then most of the time he just kept to himself. Like he didn't interact with the other kids. And Max, my older son, he was telling me like he told me that he was like very weird. Like so that's pretty much all I know about.
Right. Has Johnny shown any of these actions and stuff in public, or at school or anything, or how has he been acting out out in public?
It's been pretty bad lately. Especially, it's gotten worse lately. He's getting bigger, so it's harder to control him. He throws tantrums like everywhere we go. If we don't do like a certain thing a certain way, he'll have a huge tantrum about it, and that's just so different from what I've experienced before.
Yeah. Now, when he's throwing these tantrums and like when you're out and about, so like you're at the grocery store or something, has he had experience at the grocery store before?
Yes.
Or like being around a lot of people?
Yes.
And explain to me, like, what were you feeling during that process? What were you thinking? Like, yeah, what were just some things that were going through your mind during that time?
I was just feeling ashamed, and I thought that people were staring at me. Felt like they were judging me. I felt like they were judging my son, and they don't even know like why he's doing that.
Right.
I don't know. That's what I felt, and I feel like guilty too. because I brought him there, and I don't know if it's like why he's hurting. Like he's screaming, so he must be hurting.
Right.
People think that maybe I'm hurting him.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of it you see as like a reflection on you. Is that correct? Like you're afraid it's something that maybe like you've done because you know, like you mentioned the word like ashamed. Like you feel like ashamed or you felt like they were judging you. Is that like a fear that you might have, or do you feel like it's something that you take personally versus Johnny, or like do you feel like it's more like they see you, or do they see him? Like do you take on the blame, or what does that kind of look like?
Um, I think that they see him doing those things, and they must immediately think that I'm like a bad mother, like I'm doing something that's hurting him, and or like I'm not a good mother because like he's being bratty, but I can't control it.
Right, right. Well, I think that's an interesting concept is that you're afraid of being a bad mother because I mean, honestly, I think just you coming here alone proves that you're not, you know, a bad mother because you do care about Max, you do care about Johnny, and so I think this is something that we can work through because I know that you've got a lot going on here. You know, you've got like you got your older son Max, and then now you have Johnny who was just diagnosed with autism, and so we've got that whole spectrum. But then we also have like your side where you know you don't want to feel like the bad mom because you know you don't want other people to think things and stuff. And so I think that's one thing you know to help you and you know through this process is to kind of just examine and look through like just defining like a good mother, you know what I mean? And so I think if you're up for it, I would love to continue talking to you about this in maybe like 10 sessions if you're okay with that. We can meet again next week if you're okay with that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Well, then I can't wait to see you again.
Thank you.